With the recent ad boycott on YouTube, I can't help but wonder about what exactly this could mean for the future of the website. Will it continue down the same slope that it's been going down for the past few months now, where you have to stay family friendly in order to actually monetize your videos? Or will it at some point make it to where you have to use YouTube Red permanently in order to actually sustain the website through subscription-based fees? Obviously, nobody knows since you can't predict the future, but it's fun to talk about things like this and theorize about what exactly could happen to the future of YouTube as a whole. But even with that said, I'm not going to just talk about YouTube, I'm just going to be using it as an example most likely at most. What I'm going to really be talking about in this video is whether it's better to have an ad-based system that comes from companies, or is it better to have a subscription-based system that's directly paid through fan fees? Is it better to rely on ads from companies that actually like what you make, which could result in you making millions year by year, depending purely on what type of content you make? Or is it better to rely on fans that will pay you directly month by month, or week by week, whatever the system may be? This is what we're going to be talking about in this video. So, without further ado, let's finally get into it. So, kicking this off, I want to talk about the pros and the cons of both subscription fees and ads. So, let's start off with ads. Now, see, the thing about ads is that you can't really say whether or not they're fully good or fully bad, because ads can be very unstable, depending on the type of company that's advertising on your content, and really also depending on the type of content you make. And with a system that YouTube has in place where the CPM can change depending on what time of the year that we're currently in, that can also affect how much money you make yearly and how much money you make monthly. So, like I stated previously, it's very unstable and all just comes down to luck and how much risk you're willing to take. Yes, ads can be good if you're making content that's considered advertisement worthy, something family friendly. Whatever type of content family friendly may be considered, if it's family friendly and the advertisers like it, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to get quite a good pay from it. But if your content's considered not family friendly and nobody likes what you're making, the advertisers will most likely pull out, which could result in you making less money in the long run. So, the thing about ads is that you have to be very careful about the type of content you make and what exactly you do in your videos, because there's no guarantee that you're actually gonna get paid like you're hoping you will. So while ad money can be a pro, it can also be a con depending on the type of content you make and what type of advertisers are actually advertising your content. So really, in other words, in order to make the money that you're hoping to make, you kind of have to be an advertiser's bitch, because there really isn't anything else you can do about it, unfortunately. Now, subscription fees, on the other hand, are a whole different story, because unlike ad systems, which can be stable or unstable depending on the type of content you make, subscription fees all come down to how much your viewers are willing to pay to support you. For starters, how much are you willing to have your viewers pay each month if they're doing something such as a monthly fee? Say that you're a streamer and you want to be paid $5 monthly. Depending on how many viewers you have and how many of those viewers are actually willing to pay that fee, that can really affect you in the long run. And obviously, you can't force a viewer to actually pay that subscription fee. That just comes down to how much they actually think it's worth, and how much there actually is worth to doing it. You need to have some sort of incentive in order for them to actually feel like they're actually doing something that's worth their time and money. So in other words, the pro of a subscription fee is that it's all based on direct pay from fans actually paying monthly or yearly depending on the subscription fee itself, but the con of it is that you need to actually give some sort of incentive or just any reason at all for a subscriber to actually want to pay. If they don't see that incentive or any reason at all, they're not going to pay. It's as simple as that. The same logic could also be applied to something such as Patreon, except that with something such as Patreon, unlike something such as Twitch, really it all just comes down to how much you're actually willing to pay monthly, such as what tier you're going for and what type of reward you're into. As for tips and donations, you could kind of apply the same logic to those also, depending on how you look at it. You could say that they're the same considering you pay directly, but at the same time you could say that they're different considering they aren't based on a monthly subscription of any kind. They're just optional and when you feel like it. So, hence the reason why I said kind of. Now, with everything I've stated so far, you'd most likely think that the video's done with, as well as probably think that everything I'm stating is completely obvious. But you see, I'm not done just yet. There's something else I want to talk about, and that has to do with the current state of television. Why? Because of ads. And how exactly is ads going to affect the internet in the same way that it did TV? Well, let's look at YouTube. As you can see on YouTube, currently, in order for advertisers to actually give money to content creators, those content creators have to make content that's considered family friendly. And yes, while I did say that you have to make yourself a bitch of that advertiser in order for them to actually want to give you money. That doesn't mean I have to agree with it, and I certainly don't. I think that the current state of the advertisement on YouTube is completely fucking stupid and needs to change immediately. And YouTube honestly needs to stop giving in to them so much, because if they don't, they're gonna push away their entire audience, and there's gonna be no one there for the advertisers to actually entertain. Speaking of which, the thing I find dumb about this is that advertisers have this tendency to think that they can predict what exactly a viewer is actually going to be into. They think that by taking this certain type of content away, that's going to please someone, when really that makes no sense at all, because you can't predict what someone is going to like and what somebody is not going to like. All you can do is just do whatever you want to do, and if someone likes what you're doing, then they like what you're doing. You can't please everyone. If you try to please everyone, you please no one. That is the biggest problem with advertisers, and which is why they're only driving people away more and more day by day. And eventually, this is what I see happening unless YouTube Red becomes permanent. Eventually, everyone's going to leave and go off to Twitch or maybe even VidMe, because like it or not, VidMe is slowly growing day by day, and very soon it's actually going to be implementing an ad-based system. And currently, the VidMe team is actually working on recruiting advertisers. So really, all YouTube can do right now is get their shit together. As for advertisers, what advertisers need to realize is that the internet is not TV. That's why we like it. And if they keep trying to treat the internet like it's TV, they're only gonna fail, because they're only gonna die out if they don't learn how to adapt to how the internet works. TV is a dying medium, and obviously advertisers can't go back to it because, like I just said, it's dying. So they need to learn to adapt, or they can go die. It may sound harsh, but it's true. As for how video creation is going to thrive in the future, personally, I think it's going to be based around fan donations and subscriptions. Sure, ads are nice, but considering what I've already said about them, I can't really consider them all that reliable. As for whether ads or subscriptions are better, that just all comes down to personal perception. If you like ads, good. You like subscriptions? Good. Personally, I prefer subscriptions, but hey, that's just me. But with that being said, that's the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then make sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you're in VidMe, make sure to upvote. Also, if you want to stay up to date with me, I have a Twitter account if you want to follow me. There's a link to that in the description below. And with that being said, I'll see you all next time. But until then, I'm out. Peace.